Chosen one, this is your moment of overflow. You've walked through seasons where nothing seemed to move, where doors stayed shut, where prayers echoed in silence. Yet even in the stillness, something was shifting behind the veil. Heaven has been aligning what you could not see, preparing you for what you could not yet carry. God says you are walking into overflow. Not a trickle, not a portion, but a divine flood of increase that breaks every limit that once confined you. For too long you've lived inside boundaries built by circumstance, fear, and delay. But heaven is tearing down the walls that have fenced you in. The world told you to expect little. People around you adjusted their faith to the size of their disappointments. But you, chosen one, were never called to fit into ordinary measurements. You were destined to overflow. This is not hype, it's holy. You've been through the empty seasons so you could recognize abundance without losing humility. You've known drought so that when the rain comes, gratitude will flood your spirit. Every disappointment, every no, every delay, it all carved the space for this comingness. Right now, the atmosphere around you is shifting. The same God who multiplied loaves and parted seas is moving in unseen places on your behalf. He is rewriting the limits others tried to place on your story. You may not see the evidence yet, but deep in your spirit there's a stirring, a quiet knowing that says, something new is being born in me. You are not stepping into this overflow alone. Heaven walks with you. The oil is about to run over. The cup is about to spill with blessing. What once seemed impossible will become effortless because grace will carry you where grind never could. Stay here. Listen closely. Before this message ends, you will understand why the struggle was necessary, why the wait was divine, and how God Himself is about to break every boundary around your destiny. You are walking into overflow, and nothing can stop what's already been written. Because when heaven decides it's time, nothing can hold back what's been ordained. The seasons obey His command. The wind shifts at His whisper. The earth responds to His decree. And now the same voice that called light out of darkness is calling abundance out of your dry places. You see, this isn't random. It isn't luck or coincidence. Every step, every silence, every delay has been under divine orchestration. God has been the unseen conductor, weaving your wilderness into a symphony of purpose. You didn't miss your moment. You were being prepared for it. There are things only the waiting can teach. When you were hidden, heaven was planting you. When you were overlooked, heaven was observing you. When you thought it was over, heaven was opening a higher door. It was never punishment, it was placement. Because the kind of overflow God is releasing into your life can't rest on unstable foundations. He had to dig deep into your roots, removing pride, fear, and doubt. So when the increase comes, it won't destroy you. It will expand you. Now the Spirit of God begins to speak not in thunder, but in clarity. He says, "This is the season I break the limits off my people. The barriers of yesterday will not define the blessings of tomorrow. The same hands that built your promise will now multiply it. I am removing the ceilings that religion, fear, and past failure placed over your life. You will see me do what you stopped believing could happen." Every word of this carries weight. It isn't a distant prophecy. It's a present reality. You can feel it, a warmth stirring in your chest, a sudden peace flowing through your thoughts, as if the air itself is thicker with purpose. That's how the Spirit moves quietly, but undeniably. When God speaks of overflow, it's not only about possessions, it's about position. He's not just giving things, He's giving authority. You're not merely receiving blessings, you're stepping into identity. The kind of abundance He's preparing is not meant to impress others, but to impact generations. And this right here is where heaven draws near. Angels begin to shift in formation around your life. Doors that refuse to open now start trembling at the presence of divine command. What once resisted must now release because the word has gone forth and it will not return empty. So breathe deeply. You are standing in a sacred intersection between what was and what shall be. The next words you hear are not just poetic, they are prophetic. They will unveil what heaven has been trying to show you all along. There is a sound in the spirit right now, a low, resonant tremor, like the first rumble before a mighty rain. It is the sound of breaking limits, the sound of divine acceleration, the sound of heaven's abundance rushing toward the one who refused to give up. The word is going forth. You are walking into overflow, but this overflow is not like the world imagines. It is not shallow success or fleeting applause. It is the kind that redefines what is possible. It is the divine current that washes away scarcity, fear, and self-doubt until all that remains is purpose fulfilled. In the unseen realm, a shift has already taken place. I see rivers forming in desert lands, places that once felt dry and forgotten now, shimmering with life. I see doors unsealing themselves in places long declared closed. I see the weary standing again, clothed in new strength, radiant with fresh oil. Heaven declares, you have reached the turning point. Where there was lack, there will be abundance. Where there was rejection, there will be recognition. Where there was delay, there will be divine acceleration. It is not by striving, not by manipulation, not by force, but by surrender, by faith, by alignment with what heaven already decreed over you before you even knew your own name. For years, the enemy tried to convince you that you were forgotten. He tried to plant lies in your spirit, telling you the promise expired, that time ran out, that too much damage was done. But what he didn't realize was that every delay only deepened the roots of your calling. You were never behind. You were being refined. And now the refining season gives way to release. The furnace turns into favor. The pruning gives birth to power. You will not need to chase what's yours. It will find you because what's marked by heaven carries a homing signal. I see overflow in waves. First in your spirit peace, where there was once restlessness. Then in your relationships, divine alignments replacing false connections. Then in provision, resources flowing from unexpected places, restoring everything you lost in waiting. God says, I am multiplying the little you still have and turning it into more than enough. You'll look back and realize that what seemed like fragments were actually seeds. Seeds of future abundance. Seeds of generational restoration. But this overflow comes with revelation. It doesn't begin around you. It begins within you. It starts when you finally believe you are worthy of what heaven has prepared. It starts when you stop asking, can it happen for me, and start declaring it's already written for me. There will be moments soon when you'll recognize it, a conversation that opens a door, a message that confirms your spirit, a sudden opportunity that feels too precise to be coincidence. That's not luck. It's alignment. Everything that felt delayed is being delivered in divine order. Everything that once drained you will now sustain you. And every limitation that surrounded your name is being broken in this very hour. You are walking into overflow, not because of who you've been, but because of who He is. His mercy outruns your mistakes. His grace outweighs your grief. His promise overrides every human opinion. So let the prophecy settle in your spirit like warm oil. You don't have to strive to make it happen. It's already in motion. This overflow is not coming. It's unfolding. The drought is over. The rain has begun. Heaven's decree stands. You will not end in emptiness. You will rise in overflow. Overflow is not simply an event. It is a language, a divine rhythm that speaks of increase born from surrender. It is heaven's way of saying, you've reached the point where your obedience outweighs your limitation. When God speaks of overflow, He is not just talking about blessings that spill over the edge of your life. He's talking about identity, about becoming a vessel so full of light, faith, and wisdom that it cannot be contained. Overflow is heaven's response to emptiness that refused to give up. Think of a river. It does not fight to flow. It simply follows the path carved by time and surrender. In the same way, your overflow begins when you stop resisting the process that carved you. Every disappointment, every delay, every unseen tear has been shaping a deeper capacity within you. You see, God never wastes a wilderness. He allows you to thirst so that when water finally flows, you won't mistake the source. He allows doors to close so you'll recognize which ones He opened. He allows moments of breaking so that when blessing comes, you'll know how to hold it. This is the divine paradox. The path to overflow always passes through emptiness first. Before the cup runs over, it must first be emptied of what was never meant to fill it. That's why the pruning hurt. That's why the waiting felt unbearable. Heaven was not withholding, it was preparing. The spiritual meaning of overflow is transformation. It's not about gaining more, it's about becoming more. It's the shift from begging to believing, from striving to resting, from surviving to reigning. It's when your inner landscape changes first, and the outer world has no choice but to follow. And when the Spirit says, overflow, He means a divine expansion that touches every realm of your life. Overflow in peace. Where anxiety once ruled, now stillness reigns. Overflow in love, where betrayal once lingered, now compassion blossoms. Overflow in vision, where confusion once clouded your steps, now clarity illuminates your path. This is what happens when heaven breaks your limits. You no longer measure by scarcity. You start to see the world through abundance, through faith, through divine possibility. You realize that the same power that multiplied loaves in the hands of Jesus lives inside you. And when you finally believe that truth, overflow becomes inevitable. The storms you endured were not signs of God's absence. They were signs of coming increase. Rain only falls where clouds are heavy. And the weight you felt, the pressure that seemed unbearable, was heaven's evidence that something full was about to pour out. Overflow also carries responsibility. It's not given so we can boast, but so we can bless. It's not meant to create pride, but to birth purpose. What God pours into you is never meant to stop with you, it's meant to flow through you. Because overflow that ends in self becomes stagnation, but overflow that moves through service becomes revival. That's why He's been refining your heart. He's been teaching you to let go of comparison, to stop measuring your worth by outcomes, and to trust that when the time is right, you won't have to force doors, they'll open themselves. Overflow begins when obedience becomes effortless, when faith feels like breathing, when peace feels like home. And perhaps the most profound truth is this: overflow is not a reward for perfection. It's a revelation of alignment. When your will begins to mirror heaven's will, increase follows naturally. The presence of God itself becomes your supply. There's a verse written not on paper, but in spirit. The righteous shall flourish like a palm tree. Notice that the palm bends but does not break it, thrives in heat and storm alike. That's overflow in motion. Not everything around you must be perfect for you to prosper. You just have to stay rooted in the source. Even now, heaven is stretching your borders. You may feel the tension of growth. Old mindsets cracking comfort zones, shaking relationships shifting. But don't fear it. Every stretch is making room for something greater. You've prayed for increase, but increase requires expansion. You've asked for more, but more requires movement. Overflow doesn't visit the stagnant, it finds the surrendered. So breathe again. You are being enlarged not to be seen, but to serve, not to compete, but to complete heaven's assignment through your life. The rain has meaning. The flood has purpose. And what's coming next will prove that nothing you endured was wasted. You'll know it's begun not by fireworks or loud announcements, but by quiet shifts in the atmosphere around you. The spiritual always whispers before it roars. At first it will feel subtle, like a breeze brushing against the still air after a long storm. You won't be able to explain it, but you'll sense it, peace returning where worry once lived. Hope stirring again in places you thought were numb. A calm confidence rising inside you that says, something's changing, even if I can't see it yet. That's the first sign, inner rest before outer release. When heaven moves, it settles the soul first. Suddenly you're no longer striving or panicking. The same problems may still stand before you, but they've lost their power to shake you. That peace is not natural, it's divine. It means God has already stepped into the situation even before you see the outcome. Then comes the second sign, unusual alignment. Doors begin to open in rhythm. Opportunities find you without force. People who once misunderstood you now speak favor over your name. It's as if the universe itself begins to cooperate with heaven's plan for your life. Emails appear at the right time. Conversations carry divine timing. The very air feels synchronized. You might think, this can't be coincidence. And you'd be right, it's not. It's confirmation. When overflow approaches, heaven rearranges everything to fit your destiny. The third sign, release from what used to hold you. There will come a moment where you realize you've been freed from invisible chains. Fear that once paralyzed you suddenly breaks. Emotional burdens lose their grip. The same situations that once drained your spirit no longer affect you. That's not you becoming numb. That's you becoming new. The overflow can't fill a vessel still tied to old bondage. The fourth sign, prophetic repetition. You'll start seeing or hearing the same message everywhere through songs, verses, numbers, random encounters. You'll hear phrases like abundance, restoration, new season, or even overflow. These are not coincidences. They're confirmations. The Spirit is echoing through multiple channels to make sure you don't miss what He's saying. And then the fifth sign, acceleration. What once took years begins happening in weeks. Delays dissolve. Closed doors swing wide. Things that were impossible suddenly feel effortless. You'll look around and realize that what exhausted you in the last season is flowing easily now. That's how you know grace has taken over where striving used to live. Finally, the sixth sign. Perhaps the most sacred, tears of gratitude before the blessing fully manifests. There will come a moment when your spirit feels overwhelmed with gratitude even before the evidence appears. You'll sense the nearness of God so deeply that your eyes fill with tears, and you'll know you're already standing in the overflow. When these signs converge, remember this. Heaven always confirms before it completes. You're not waiting for the miracle. You're walking into its unfolding. Just before the promise breaks open, the pressure often increases. It's heaven's paradox. The closer you are to overflow, the more resistance you feel. Not because God is denying you, but because He's finalizing you. In these moments, you may wonder if you somehow lost your way. You'll look around and think, why does it suddenly feel harder when I'm so close? But understand this, what you're feeling is the stretching before the release. It's like the tension in a bowstring right before the arrow flies. The tighter it feels, the further you're about to go. Hidden challenges appear not to destroy you, but to test your stability. Overflow isn't light, it's weighty. It carries responsibility, visibility, and spiritual influence. Before heaven trusts you with abundance, it ensures your foundation can bear the weight of glory. The first challenge often comes through distraction. Suddenly, people or situations from old seasons reappear. Drama you've outgrown tries to reattach itself. Opportunities arise that look good, but don't carry peace. This is not coincidence, it's discernment training. God is teaching you to choose alignment over appearance. Then comes silence. After all the signs, there might be a moment where heaven seems quiet again. You'll pray and hear nothing. Doors you expected to open will pause halfway. Don't mistake this for abandonment. This is the divine pause where God watches what you'll do when you can't feel Him. Silence reveals maturity. It separates those who worship for outcome from those who worship out of love. Another challenge: misunderstanding. When overflow is near, not everyone will recognize your transformation. Some will question your faith, your motives, or your sudden elevation. They won't understand the private battles that built your public strength. Don't explain. Don't defend. God Himself will validate what He ordains. Then there's the weight of waiting. Even in the midst of unfolding miracles, some parts of the promise will still seem delayed. That's because overflow doesn't happen in one moment, it comes in waves. Each wave prepares you for the next. You're not being withheld from, you're being graduated through. And finally, the greatest challenge: the temptation to shrink. When abundance begins to show, the enemy will whisper, "Don't get your hopes up. Stay small, play safe." But you weren't built for shrinking, you were designed for shining. This is not pride, it's purpose. Humility is not hiding, it's staying grateful while still standing tall in what God gave you. Remember this: the enemy attacks hardest right before divine delivery because he can sense the weight of what's about to be released. But his resistance is proof, not deterrent. Every attack confirms that overflow is not a dream, it's imminent. So when the tests arise, don't fear them. Endure them with grace. Respond to distraction with focus. Meet silence with stillness. Answer misunderstanding with peace. Outlast waiting with worship. And when fear whispers, answer with faith, "I was made for this." You're not losing ground. You're passing through the final refinement before release. Now hear this clearly: the overflow has already been decreed. But heaven still waits for your agreement. God never forces abundance into unprepared hands. He invites you to align, to partner with what's already in motion. The door is open, but you must walk through. The first instruction is: stay positioned in gratitude. Gratitude is not just politeness, it's a spiritual magnet. It multiplies whatever it touches. When you thank God in advance, you declare that you trust His unseen process. Every thank you becomes a seed that calls forth another harvest. Gratitude keeps your heart fertile for favor. Speak it often: "Lord, I may not see it all yet, but I thank you for what's already becoming." The second instruction: guard your atmosphere. In this season, not every voice can travel with you. Some words are heavy. They drain faith instead of feeding it. Protect your peace like it's sacred currency, because it is. Limit access to those who carry chaos. Speak less about what's forming and listen more to what's being whispered. The overflow is holy. Don't expose it to noise. Third instruction: respond, don't react. Overflow draws attention. Some will celebrate you, others may test you. Respond with grace, not ego. When God begins to lift you, He expects you to carry His character higher than your platform. Humility will guard what pride could lose in a day. Your calmness will be your confirmation that you're anchored in purpose, not performance. The fourth instruction: keep sowing. Even when increase begins, don't stop giving your time, your wisdom, your kindness, your resources. The principle of overflow is continuous motion. What you release returns multiplied. The moment you stop pouring, the flow stagnates. So bless freely and watch heaven refill faster than you can release. Next, move when you feel the wind. Overflow is carried by timing. There will be sudden moments where God nudges your spirit, an idea, a message, a connection, an invitation. Don't overthink it. Follow the flow. When you sense peace, that's your permission. When you sense unrest, that's your protection. Heaven communicates not through logic, but through leading. Another key instruction. Speak as if it's done. Words shape worlds. The same God who spoke creation into being has placed his creative breath within you. Speak life over your finances, health, relationships, and future. Don't describe what you see. Declare what you believe. Say often, I am in my overflow season. I walk in divine alignment. I carry heaven's abundance. The atmosphere listens to conviction. Then rest. When he says rest, the overflow does not require exhaustion, it requires trust. Rest is not inactivity, it's divine confidence. When you pause, you're saying, God, I trust you to handle what I can't. Some of the greatest breakthroughs happen not when you're striving, but when you're still. The next instruction may surprise you. Forgive quickly. Unforgiveness clogs the flow. It keeps the heart heavy, and overflow cannot dwell in bitterness. Release them, those who hurt you, misunderstood you, or walked away. Their chapter in your story had purpose, even if it ended in pain. Forgiveness doesn't excuse, it liberates. It frees you to rise unchained. And finally, expect it daily. Don't treat overflow as a one-time event. Live like it's your new normal. Wake up every morning saying, something good is about to find me today. Faith is expectation in motion. What you anticipate becomes what you attract. These are not rules, they are invitations. Heaven's way of saying, I want to do more through you than around you. When you live these truths, the flow becomes unstoppable. Remember, obedience is the bridge between prophecy and manifestation. You've heard the word, now walk it out. You don't have to chase blessings, they're chasing you. Your only assignment now is to stay aligned, stay grateful, and stay open. The overflow isn't approaching, it's already here. Step into it with reverence, with readiness, and with radiant expectation. You are covered. Even now, unseen hands surround you. There are angels assigned to your name watchers who have walked beside you through seasons you thought you faced alone. They didn't just appear now. They were there in the wilderness, guarding your steps when the way was unclear. This next part of your journey is not exposed to danger. It's sealed by divine promise. The same God who called you into overflow has also built the walls of protection around it. You won't lose what he gives you. You won't fall under what he lifts you into. You've felt the winds of opposition before, but this time they will not move you. Because what's within you is greater than what blows against you. Heaven doesn't remove storms. It strengthens vessels. You are becoming the kind of soul that sails through what once sank you. Listen closely. The oil on your life is not fragile. The covering on your destiny cannot be breached by fear, envy, or sabotage. Every curse, every word spoken against your progress has already lost its power the moment it was spoken. Heaven intercepts every arrow before it reaches your heart. This is the assurance you must carry. You are not walking into overflow alone. God goes before you as a pillar of fire by night and a cloud of glory by day. He stands behind you as your defense, beside you as your comfort, and within you as your strength. Nothing touches you without divine permission, and if it's allowed, it's only for your elevation. Even in silence, he surrounds you. Even in delay, he shields you. Even in warfare, he fights for you. There is a peace coming that will feel like armor. It won't just calm your mind, it will protect it. You'll walk through noise without absorbing it. You'll hear gossip and not be wounded by it. You'll feel pressure but not collapse under it. That's what divine protection looks like in motion, peace that passes understanding. Do not fear what's ahead. You are not stepping into a battlefield, you are stepping into territory already won. The overflow doesn't require you to fight for what's yours. It calls you to walk confidently in it. God's favor will be your shield. His light will expose every hidden trap. His grace will go before every decision you make. And when uncertainty tries to whisper, you'll feel that quiet assurance inside saying, I'm covered. I'm surrounded. I'm safe. You've come through fire and flood, and you're still standing stronger, purer, and wiser. Now you walk not in fear, but in favor. Not in anxiety, but authority. This protection is not temporary, it's covenant. And it will remain upon you as long as your heart remains surrendered. It happens quietly at first, not as thunder in the sky, but as light breaking through the soul. One morning you'll wake up and something will feel different. The heaviness that used to sit on your chest will be gone. The questions that haunted your nights will have no voice left. And deep within you'll sense it, the shift has come. This is the fulfillment of everything heaven whispered to you in the dark. The long nights, the wilderness seasons, the silent prayers, they weren't wasted. They were the soil where this harvest was planted. You'll notice it in small things first, peace that no longer wavers, joy that needs no explanation, opportunities that align perfectly without your effort, conversations that open doors you didn't even knock on. And then, like dawn breaking over the horizon, it will all unfold at once. The overflow will no longer be something you're waiting for. It will be something you're living in. You'll see restoration where there was ruin. You'll see abundance where there was lack. You'll see divine justice where there was pain. And you'll realize God didn't just give you what you lost. He multiplied it beyond recognition. Because transformation is never about returning to who you were. It's about becoming who you were always meant to be. You'll recognize yourself in the mirror, and yet somehow not at all. There will be a glow in your eyes, a calm in your presence, a strength in your voice that only grace could build. You'll stop chasing proof. You'll simply be proof of what God can do with a life that refused to quit. The relationships that remain will be divine. The places you're called to will fit perfectly. The work of your hands will prosper without burnout. And everywhere you go, favor will follow you like a gentle wind. In this new space, your prayers will sound different. No longer desperate pleas, but grateful declarations. You'll speak to God not as one begging for rescue, but as one walking with a friend who never left. You'll begin to understand that overflow isn't a destination. It's a lifestyle of trust, and your story will become a testimony that multiplies faith in others. Because what God does in you, He intends to do through you. You'll speak, and others will feel hope ignite again. You'll move, and others will find courage to rise. You'll live, and heaven's abundance will echo through your life like a living prophecy. The fulfillment won't just change your circumstances, it will change your perception. You'll look back at your past and bless even the pain. You'll realize it wasn't your enemy. It was your escort to destiny. Every closed door was divine redirection. Every delay was mercy disguised as waiting. And you'll whisper through tears and laughter alike, it was worth it. Because it will be. The overflow won't just fill your cup, it will spill into generations after you. Your obedience will outlive your name. Your faith will become legacy. Your light will mark paths for others still walking through their own darkness. This is fulfillment, not a single miracle, but a lifestyle saturated with divine rhythm, where your steps, your words, your decisions all move in harmony with heaven's heartbeat. You'll live as evidence that God breaks limits, that His promises are not delayed. They're delivered right on time. And when people ask how you survived, how you kept believing, you'll simply smile and say, because grace never stopped flowing. Take a deep breath. Let the weight of this moment sink in, not as emotion, but as revelation. The word has gone forth, and it will not return void. You've heard heaven's decree. You've walked through the process. You've endured the silence, and now you stand on the threshold of a new reality overflow. It's already surrounding you. It's already filling you. From this day forward, walk as one who has become the prophecy. Because you are not waiting for favor, you are walking in it. And now speak these words aloud with conviction and peace. Affirmation 1. I am aligned with divine timing. Everything meant for me flows toward me effortlessly. Affirmation 2. I am no longer chasing blessings. Blessings are finding me overflowing through every area of my life. Affirmation 3. My heart is open. My faith is anchored, and my future is secured in God's hands. Affirmation 4. I am walking in overflow without fear, without limit, without lack. Say them often. Whisper them when you wake. Declare them when doubt tries to creep in. These words aren't wishful thinking, they're faith in motion. Every time you speak them, heaven echoes, yes and amen. And now receive the blessing. May your days overflow with divine peace and your nights be filled with revelation and rest. May every closed door that once resisted you now open effortlessly by grace. May the oil on your life never run dry. May favor follow your footsteps and light crown your path. May those who encounter you sense the presence of God before you even speak. May you never again measure yourself by limitation, for your portion is abundance, your inheritance is peace, and your destiny is overflowing glory. Walk boldly, walk softly, walk knowing heaven walks with you. And when the winds rise again, and they will remember you've already been tested, refined, and chosen. You will not break under pressure. You will bloom under blessing. This is your confirmation. This is your commission. And this is your overflow. The limits have been broken. The delay has ended. And the promise is fulfilled. Go in peace. Go in power. Go in overflow. Amen.